Yeah, whoa, yeah. Tell me what's the point of doing life alone? Swings and merry-goes don't feel the same. No, I know it's hard to trust when you've been hurt before, but I wanna be the one to share that pain. Oh yeah, take my hand and walk with me. Yeah, on the road that never ends.
Hello, welcome to the table. My name is Josh Abraham, and I'm coming at you live from Emmanuel United Methodist Church here in Alamance County, Burlington, North Carolina. The last video that you hopefully saw was a chance of reflection as we United Methodist pastors talked all about that fear and that ego and those destructive things that stand in the way of us really connecting as people of God and feeling like United Methodist churches. So as we continue to sit around the table, what you're going to hear now is us live workshopping some ways that we as pastors and leaders in the church can talk about what it means to really commit to that idea of being unified. You'll hear great stories and hopefully get a chance to reflect on in your own lives what you think are ways that we can connect. As I was sitting there, I have a tendency sometimes to feel a little hopeless and feel like I'm up against something that there's no hope of ever defeating. But I was very encouraged to know that there are other pastors who are struggling with those same worries and anxieties as I am, and also to hear that there are some great, amazing, beautiful, and holy ideas that I can be learning from, that I want to implement in my own life, and that we can share in those, that there's no competition for who comes up with this great idea, just that we get a chance to share that together. So we hope that your hearts are open and your minds are open as you take a look at this next video that we have for you today.
I've seen Connectionalism do a lot of really good work among youth. I've started a church where the youth raised money, worked really hard all year to go to summer breakaway. And then they're like, well, this was great. We had to go to ACS. Like, more car washes. So many cars. But, I mean, it was just part of the culture of that church that as soon as you're old enough, summer breakaway, and as soon as you're old enough, we did breakaway and ACS. And then at pilgrimage, as soon as you could leave our group behind, as we settled in our seats, they were like, to go find their ACS friends and their pilgrimage folks, or their breakaway folks who didn't go to the same school, didn't live in the same county.
For those who may be watching, so you know, what Kelly's referring to is our conference, our denominational kind of sphere, hosts and sponsors and puts on, or whatever you want to call it, several youth events, some of them week-long, and that's what, and some of them just a weekend, and that's what she's talking about, some of her kids plugged into.
And those growth groups that they put you in at Breakaway, those maintained themselves for some of our youth, and they connected deeply through social media and driving to see each other and getting together over the rest of the summer, you know, with folks an hour and a half, you know, away, and another group was coming an hour here, and they would just find ways to maintain that connection. And one of our youth was really going through some stuff, and he didn't tell his friends at school, he didn't tell his friends at church, he told people in his growth group. And they were able to intervene from a distance to make sure he was safe and that he was okay. So, I mean, and the boys one summer were like, oh, we're going to marry conference girls. Why would you marry a girl who's not a conference girl? I mean, they were just really all in. I mean, they would go, we did Mission Mania one year where we brought a whole bunch of our youth, like 7, 8 of our youth, to annual conference. We did the meal packing that year. They packed 100,000 meals, so they were working on that. We had money from the church to buy school supplies, so we did that. And there's a 5K, so we did that. And they looked at our conference, they went, we do this way better than you guys.
Yeah,
and they were just like,
better than the grown-up conference.
We're going to pack some meals. This is ridiculous. But they love the connectional nature of the church. Being a small rural church, it just gave them a window to so many other things in the lives of other.
I know two cases where a couple churches, these were Cary churches, who teamed up to do, I think, 3 something like did a retreat together, and way better. And again, egos were. You have to have a healthy egos, but they have to fit where they need to fit. And everybody had a healthy ego to make the thing better, but not in a way that somebody had to be the coolest one. You know what I mean? None of the youth pastors like, I got to be the most popular one here. Nope. And then the other. That there was a week-long kind of mission week where 2 churches worked together. And so if you got 8 out of one and 7 out of another, that's 15.
Got a group.
Or if you got 13 out of one and 11 out of another, you got 24. Now you're starting to become a force. There's stuff on the other side of us. There's really neat stuff on the other side of us finding ways to have more conversations and to figure out how to have healthy egos in that, because it was beautiful. What was your impression?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's the collective. If you get people together and they're moving together to accomplish something, you just do more, be more, make a bigger impact.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it. Yeah. So it's just the way it works.
You think about like the way that we're kind of geared to talk about collections, where we don't realize that maybe we should be putting our efforts towards getting the youth to do this, getting that next generation to be the one to say, yeah, we want to be a part together with the people around us, and saying that's the energy and that's the time that we need to be investing in. Because I think today's youth understand that easier with all the other things that they're connected with, whether it's online gaming or just being together with people that they don't see and they don't interact with on a regular basis, but still have this understanding. We need community. We can't do it by ourselves. And maybe some of the generations that raised them are still in this mode of, no, we can be the ones to do it ourselves. We can be the individuals to make this strong.
We're in a really interesting space where Davis Street United Methodist sold their building and moved in with us about a year and a half ago. And so we're 2 churches in one building. Their youth have come to our youth group, not because anybody forced them to, they just showed up. Davis Street is doing a mission project. We're like, oh, could we give some things to that mission project? It's just the back and forth and ebb and flow of friendship and participation. Yeah. We have dinners for 8. We have a whole bunch of Davis Street folks that signed up for dinner for 8. So they're getting to know each other around the table. There's no devotion, there's no mission, there's no worship, there's no education. Just get to know each other around the table.
Something divine about that.
Yeah,
there is.
There is. And it's just been wonderful to live in this space together and watch this organic kind of connection.
There's some intentionality, though. It's not 100% organic. Part of it is intentional, right? That requires
providing opportunity,
right?
Making sure they know what we're doing, we know what they're doing, and they know that they're welcome. Yeah. And we know that we're welcome. There's just a sense of, yeah, this is us, this is you, but there is this collective we that's kind of growing at the same time.
Do you pitch it for each other? In other words, you're going out of town, he preached for you, or all of that sort of stuff? Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, good.
That's a good setup.
Yeah, and we've even talked about, church seasons to come, how to do some of that rotation that you all talked about earlier, of taking weeks and doing both churches and different things.
Just would preach the first Sunday of the series in both congregations, the same sermon, then I'll preach the next one, and just to, and we've done Advent, we've done Christmas Eve together, Easter, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, we did Pentecost and had a picnic together. So we've created some intentional time to do that, but there's a lot of things that develop around that because we're both United Methodists, and there is the possibility of becoming one church maybe at some point.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is there a sign for both churches out front?
Not a sign on the doors.
There's a Davis Street sign on the door.
Yeah, on the door. Yeah. But not. Yeah.
Not
But interestingly, we've had
signs are expensive.
a couple. We've had 2 weeks recently where different families came and visited our church at 9:30, and we don't even have a sign out front. So I don't
Awesome.
100% know how they found us, but they did.
Probably through another Davis Street person or something,
But it's interesting. I don't remember where I heard this. It might have been at a pastor convocation school several years ago, but it was pointed out to me that we are community before we're individuals. And I mean that as just a biological factor of life. Children come from a mother. So we are 2 before we're 1. And the isolation that we have and that individualism that plagues our society is a learned habit that I think sometimes youth have a better window into community, sometimes because they're forced to do it. They have to go to school. You know, they have to do these things. And so when you're at school and you don't want to be there, you make the best of it. You find people that have shared interests, and that spills out into other things and online groups. My kids are doing that right now. It's how they survive in summer. And
we're kind of, I'm kind of in my head hearing things and also pulling at straws or strings. You know, I would think of this because wouldn't it be really cool if our youth today would come to a point where they'd say, you know, where's your what church you go to? Well, I'm United Methodist. Well, what church? Right. Oh, my worshiping community is at. You know, on whatever. Right. That's my worshiping community, my worshiping family. My small groups are over there, but I'm United Methodist. That's my church. You know, and he says something similar to that about discipleship at Front Street and this discipleship thing. But you don't want them to say they're members.
Back in June, we asked them at the end of the series or even at the end of each sermon, we said, we want you to be able to walk away not saying, I'm a member at Front Street. We want you to be able to say, I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ at Front Street. You add that tack on at the end, or at Davis Street, or at Elon, or wherever you are. I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ first and foremost.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sounds like that's getting back to what John Wesley found.
Oh, now, I mean, you know, now you're messing around. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching that video. One of the beautiful things about our commitment to Christ and the way that we get to fellowship with one another is as we draw closer together with the people that we are around, whether that be from people who are right next door at a different church or in a completely different stage of life, we draw closer to God and we become a more cohesive unit with the same goal and the same vision of making disciples and making God's kingdom here on earth a reality, not just something that we can imagine. So we hope that you tune in next week because this conversation is just getting started. And you'll hear more and more stories, more and more amazing things, and hopefully experience more of the Holy Spirit moving through us. See you next week.